Greeting to all. In Pedagogy of English, today we will discuss about narrative as a pedagogical tool. So here, first let us understand what is a narrative. A narrative is nothing but, it is also called as a story, is defined as any report of connected events, real or imaginary, presented in a sequence of written or spoken words or still or moving things. So here, narrative story means what? It is going to be presented both in a oral manner and also in a written manner. Next, second point, in a narrative, in a narrative, what is going to be there? Events are going to be in a connected manner. So those events may be real or imaginary. Next, it is a familiar and an old form of teaching. It is a good tool to sustain interest in the listeners. Much writing carries a narrative shape. A lot of our thinking has a narrative structure. It can be an incident, a story, a fairy tale, a biography, a historical account, an anecdote, every joke, every piece of gossip, anything that creates interest and a smile can be a narrative. So, in teaching learning process, especially for the purpose of teaching a languages, narrative is going to play an important role. Why means it helps to maintain interest among the pupil or a learner. So many writers are going to carry out different aspects in a narrative manner. Generally, when we are going to think, generally when we are going to communicate with others, so there a compulsory we are going to think in a narrative manner, we are going to communicate in a narrative manner. So number of issues are going to comes under in a narrative. Incident is also a narrative, a story is also a narrative, a fairy tale is also a narrative, a biography is also a narrative, a historical account is also a narrative, an anecdote. Anecdote means what? A real event of a person or an incident is called as an anecdote, is also narrative, joke, piece of gossip. These all are going to be called as a narrative. So, as a teacher, you know how to narrate inside the classroom both in a written manner and also oral manner. So then only you can able to maintain interest in teaching learning process among pupil or students. But the point is, some points to bear in mind while presenting a narrative means that whether you are presenting that narrative both in a oral or in a written manner, when you are going to present as a teacher, we need to keep some points in our mind. What are those? In that first one, pave way for listening comprehension. So whatever you are narrating inside the classroom, whatever narrative you are presenting inside the classroom, their students should understand in a comprehensive manner. Next, second one, sometime once you present a narrative inside the classroom, some students may not understand. So there you are going to retold same story again inside the classroom. Next, third one, exercises can be framed as a follow-up work. So here exercises are nothing but after the completion of the narrative, you are going to give an opportunity to complete the exercises. Exercises are from the narrative itself only. Questions, fill in the blanks, activities, these all are going to be comes under in exercises. When students are going to complete exercises, so then only you can understand that whatever narrative is presented by you, so that is understood by the students. For that purpose, exercises are a follow-up work. It gives information about the student, it gives a feedbacks to you about the student whether they understood your narrative or not. Next, grammatical items. So, in grammatical items, tense forms, suitable transitions, questions, imperatives. These all are going to play an important role in presentation of narrative, because whenever you are going to present a narrative, there is need to prepare that narrative without doing a grammatical mistakes, especially which tense form you are going to use, how you are going to translate that story, what questions you are going to ask, and how you are going to use imperatives while presenting a narrative, both in an oral manner and also in a spoken written manner. Next, a theme can be presented through a narrative. So here, theme is nothing but a story. Okay, so theme can be a person or individual, a story you are going to present. So whenever you are going to do the presentation of narrative, so there is need to concentrate on the presentation of an individual, a story. So that is called as a theme. Next, a point of view can be expressed synthesizing a beginning, middle, and end. When you are going to presenting a narrative, how you are going to begin that narrative, how you are going to end that narrative, because beginning of the narrative, end of the narrative is going to play an important role in presentation of the narrative. Because uh, if you wants to present narrative in a successful manner, compulsory there is need to introduce beginning of the narrative in an impressive manner. Yes or no? When you are going to give a conclusion also, there only, there you should get a complete concentration of the students. Next, sequencing the plot of the narrative. Whenever you are going to present narrative both in a oral manner and also in a written manner, so whatever events are there, whatever situations are there, so there you are going to mention each and every event in a sequential manner, so that learner is going to understand that narrative in a easy manner. So that's why sequence of the events in narrative is going to play an important role. Narrative means what? A story. When you are going to present any story inside the classroom, there that story should be presented in a sequential manner. Next, practical skills like role play, modulating the voice, body language can be practiced. So, by using a narrative, by using a story, both teacher and learner can do the practice of the different practical skills like role play, modulating the voice, body language. So here role play means whatever roles are there in that story, so students can able to play those roles. At the same time, when you are going to present a story or a narrative, so there's need to modulate your voice. Modulate your voice means what? Change the voice depending upon the intensity of the word. If any sorrow word will be there, then automatically your voice modulation is going to be decreased. If any aggressive word is there, then automatically you are going to increase your voice. So like that, in teaching learning process, in presentation of the story, in presentation of the narrative, voice modulation is going to play an important role. Next important point here is body language. In presentation of the story, in presentation of the narrative, your body language is going to play an important role. Means that according to the situation, according to the story, according to the event, you should use your body language inside the classroom, because for the purpose of expressing meaning of each and every sentence which is available in the story, your body language is going to play an important role. Nodding head, using of your hands, use of complete your body, these all are going to play an important role in presentation of the story. Next, during the oral presentation, needs to use all the features of language like stress, rhythm, and intonation. So, in presentation of the story or a narrative, stress, rhythm, intonation are going to play an important role. Stress means what? If there is important situation is there, so there automatically important word will come. So when there is important word is there, so there automatically you are going to give use a stress. Next, rhythm. When you are going to present the story in a rhythmic manner by using a voice modulation, by using sounds in a proper manner, by using pronunciation in a proper manner, by explaining by presenting the story in effective manner, you are going to do the presentation of narrative in a rhythmic manner. Next important, intonation. High intonation, low intonation. High and low intonation means what? You are going to increase voice up and down, up and down. So by using that uh, uh, increasing of voice, decreasing of voice is nothing but intonation. High intonation, low intonation, high voice, low voice. When you are going to present the story, when you are going to narrate the story, then automatically students are going to listen in a comprehensive manner, in a holistic manner. Next, narrative gaps are created that can be filled in by the learners by constructing targeted discourses. So in when you are going to present narrative, so there is need to give some activities, some exercises. So that's why within that narrative you are going to give some gaps. So those gaps means that call space. So there is need to include a word or sentence. So those words or sentences are going to be not filled by the teacher. Those words, those gaps are going to be filled by the student itself only, so that students are going to learn how to write discourse in English. Next, narratives capitalize on emotional aspect of the language. In presenting a narrative, uh, as a teacher, there is need to use your emotions. As a teacher, for the purpose of presentation of narrative, when you are going to use emotions, those emotions are going to play an important role in teaching learning a process. Means that depending upon the use of emotions, learners are going to understand that story in an effective manner. At the same time, whatever emotions you are going to use in teaching learning process, so those emotions are going to be learned by the student in an easy manner, because in language expression, emotions are going to play an important role. For the purpose of learning emotions, the presentation of the story, narrative is going to play an important role. And the last one, narratives can change the thoughts of the learners. Means depending upon narrative only, you are going to change your thoughts. How narrative is going to take place? Narrative is going to take place in a constructive manner, in a meaningful manner. So that's why whenever you are going to narrate, both in your mind or by using a language, so there by concentrating on surrounding situations only, narrative is going to take place in your mind. So that's why depending upon the presentation of narrative, there is need to a possibility of a changing of a thinking process or thought process of the learners. So this is narrative as a pedagogical tool. So it helps to develop how to write discourse and how to expose discourse in an oral manner. So in teaching learning process, as a learner should know how to use narrative and how to get narrative, because it will be useful to develop thinking process among pupil. Thank you.